Road at Taranaki Street, and basically we provide a home for all the entrepreneurs and the startups in Wellington. But most recently, we've also discovered that the kind of stuff that we do with startups, especially around innovation and sort of like disruptive innovation, applies to large organizations really well. And as large organizations are trying to figure out how do we keep being innovative, how do we have sustainable competitive advantage, turns out that startups are actually really good at this. And so we are applying the same thinking that we've got for startups to large organizations, including government. And so this doubling trend is now sort of creeping into almost every aspect of life. And one of the key things to kind of observe about doubling trends and exponential disruption is that it's actually really difficult to spot initially. It flies under the radar for a very long time. And then when it bubbles up, it's got a speed and a momentum that makes it very, very hard to catch up. We spend a lot of time these days working with singularity universities, understanding how exponential disruption affects us all, but especially understanding how exponential disruption affects the public sector. And so that's how we kind of backed ourselves and learned a lot and started putting together a program that we call Exo Builder, which is designed to help large organizations look at the risk of disruption, and especially exponential disruption in their industry, in their space, in their market. Look at what strategies are applicable to deal with that disruptive risk, and then potentially to either self-disrupt or to launch some defense strategies around what you can do to deal with this space. And so that's what we wanted to talk to you today about. One of the first projects that we did was TradeMe, who actually went through this program, and we worked together with TradeMe to look at what disruption exists, especially in the TradeMe job space. And so rather than me talk about this, we thought it's much more interesting for you to hear from the guys from TradeMe to actually tell you a little bit about how that program went, what was useful, what worked, what didn't work. And so I'd like to introduce Martin White from TradeMe to take you through the Exo Builder program.
I'm just going to talk about one of those things, which is staff on demand, on the top right there. So staff on demand is a kind of a property or a common technique used in exponential organizations to scale up quickly. And it basically is kind of like the cloud for people. It provides elasticity of people resources for these companies. So there's a company called GigWalk, which is a really good example. And what they do is they're kind of a staff on demand platform. If you're a company that wants something done, you can list that thing that needs doing on GigWalk, and there's a host of people waiting to earn money and do work for you. Instead of starting by building something, you need to start with learn. But unfortunately, the phrase build, measure, learn starts with build. So people tend to get this wrong quite often. But the idea is that you build something, the smallest thing you possibly can, in order to take some measurements about the impact that thing has, and then you use that data to establish whether you've solved a real problem, whether your product is working well, and then you maybe adjust that and build some more stuff. So what we decided we would build for the movie industry is a really simple system that collects profile information about people seeking jobs in that industry. We spent less than a day building a website using a software as a service solution that collected these profiles, and that was it. We didn't build any kind of matching engine or anything like that underneath, because that would have taken a long time. And we managed to convince a bunch of people that this was going to solve their problems, which was great. I think we sold it to 8 companies who listed 11 roles, and we actually got 3 people a real job as a result, which, considering we spent less than a day building it and did most of it by hand, I thought was a pretty good result. We didn't develop a strong attachment to a product, and we didn't therefore over-invest in it. Because we hadn't spent months and years building something, we'd spent a day building something. If we had been proved wrong and the idea wasn't going to work and it wasn't going to stick, then dropping it wouldn't have been difficult.